Gambia, Angola, China Holding, Gash, producers of the finest tomato paste in the Gambia. Jaja tomato paste, available in 5 kilos, 1 kilo and in sachets. For wholesale and retail, visit our factory at Banjulunding. We are also producers of Jaja mineral water, cool, clear and fresh. Gash, Gambia, Angola, China Holding, with headquarters at Fatu Golden Plaza, Mile 7, Bertel Harding Highway. Gash Group also provides the best security company, Gash Security, for your offices, warehouses, homes and personal property. Gash Group for all your construction projects, offering you quality water reticulation for your gardens, pump irrigation, tidal irrigation projects and all types of buildings. You can contact Gash on 396-7894, 700-8993, 373-0259. Visit us at Gash Global Group on Battle Harden Highway, Fatu Golden Plaza. Our website www.gashglobal.com. Gambia, Angola, China Holding, Gash.
It's a warm reception to our studio here in Serekunda. This is Star TV News with me, Maywina Fadera. In the headlines tonight, Peace Gambia holds its first conference. Gambia Transport Union unveils corruption practice among transport stakeholders. 20 women complete training on political leadership. Milka Sports World presents football materials to some coaches. On the international scene, U.S. tightens security before Joe Biden's inauguration. People fear for their survival as COVID rips through Brazil's Manaus. Bobby Wine to legally contest Uganda vote urges non-violence. Well, those were the headlines, and now the news in details. The Peace Gambia, a non-political and government organization, held its first conference called the National Peace Conference in honor of the late and former president of the Gambia, Sir Dawda Kairaba Jawara. The event was centered on peace building in the Gambia and the world at large. Our Sani reports.
The conference was the first of its kind in the honor of the late President Sir Dawda Kairaba Jawara. Lalo Bajo, the Director General of the Peace Club, said the conference was meant to converge prominent Gambians to share knowledge on the theme restoring the fast-fading identifier of our nation, tolerance, peace, love and unity. The event was graced by CEO of TAFC Africa Global, Mustafa Njai, who spoke on the general view of peace. He said it is very important to talk about peace in the beginning of a new year and a very crucial year in which the presidential election of the Gambia will hold. He said Gambians should do everything possible to maintain the peaceful coexistence in the country. Mr. Njai urged the people to be tolerant, contented and disciplined. He added that with the upcoming presidential election in December, people should be vigilant and avoid chaos.
The elections that are going to come in 2021, what is in December, don't allow to be used. Don't allow to be used as young people. We must say this because politicians use young people. You are vulnerable and you must go out of this hall and understand that the country must continue after December 21 and we must live harmoniously and peacefully. That's what we need to do.
He said politicians owe it to be themselves to not use the youth for their political ambitions because they have a great future ahead of them. Superintendent Olamin Njai, the public relations officer of the Gambia Police Force, who spoke on the role of the security in stability building, had this to say.
It is important that we look into issues about peace, and so the role of security when it comes to peace is very crucial, but also it's a very serious one. And that's why I want us to take this business very seriously. I am very elated and proud to be associated with this event because it is important that we talk to our young people because like the UNESCO saying goes, when war begins in the minds of men, it is in the minds of men that the defenses of peace must be constructed. And so therefore, having these young minds here, it's important that we inculcate the values of peace into our hearts and minds so that we'll be able to jealously safeguard the peace that we have in the Gambia.
Superintendent Jai said recently the Gambia has witnessed a new dynamic rise in crime and brutality against people, which they take to be very worrisome. He said, therefore, all these facts are affecting the peace and stability of the country and mind of the youths.
Judging from the recent arrests by police at various police stations and those arrested by the police anti-crime unit, most of the suspects are youth. In 2018 so far, people between the ages of 15 and 24 years of age make up 53% of the first-time offenders convicted for mainly stealing, robbery, housebreaking, assault, and drug-related charges. 53% of those people are youth. So you can imagine. And all the crimes that they do is stealing, robbery, housebreaking, assault, and drug-related charges. I am sure you are following these things, so they are not news to you.
The number includes those who have been recently convicted and those who were not able to be prosecuted because of the lack of evidence and those who simply got away. He said the society needs to take responsibility to make sure a lot of crimes are reduced to enable them to live in a peaceful society. He said the police is hardly doing everything possible to eradicate crime of a peaceful country. Singer and songwriter Barhama Cham, who took the podium, advised his fellow artists to use their platform to send the message of peace because it is very crucial. He said his songs are mainly about peace, therefore it was an honor for him to join the conference to preach peace. Meanwhile, the Peace Gambia organization was established in 2019 with the quest to promote peace. The organization also established Peace Club in various schools to encourage students in building peace for national development. Reporting for Star TV News, I am Awasane.
The Gambia Transport Union on Friday held a press briefing which was meant to highlight some illegal issues affecting their sector in connection with the Gambia Revenue Authority and the El Hela Company, a company specialized in the importation of green tea, commonly known as attire. However, the briefing was held at their main office in Banjul. Well, Modu El Baji tells us more.
As part of their mandate to regulate the transportation of services and fight for the rights of their members, the Gambia Transport Union has pinned out a foreign truck which is allegedly working for the El Hela company in the Gambia. The truck is said to have loaded with El Hela products which were listed at the seaport as transit. However, the driver was reported to have hidden his lorry in the city until late night and tried to unload the transit merchandise at one of the warehouses of the company. The Gambia Transport Union, under the leadership of Bala Musa Sise, has investigated the matter and he shared his findings to the press. He noted that involving in such malpractice can cripple the country's economy and it is ungodly. President Sise also questioned the role of the Gambia Revenue Authority and the Gambia Chamber of Commerce, as they are the regulatory bodies charged with the responsibility to monitor and correct such illegal activities in the business sector.
We all know this is economic crime. It's filed against, it's a capital offense. The important point is, as Gambian, this has been happening since quite a long time. Everybody in the system have that subject of mind. I contact personal one, senior authority of GRA. The time I mentioned the name of Hala, I said, this is a suspect. He told me this on the phone. Hala was a suspect of the subject matter. So finally, they are captured. So we will see end of the investigation what is going out of it, but it's a concern for transport sector.
The Transport Union, with the help of the Gambia Revenue Authority officers, has arrested those responsible and they have gathered what they describe as substantial evidence during the investigation. Mr. Sise pointed fingers at the Gambia Revenue Authority, stressing that they should be providing escort services to lorries carrying goods so that they can ascertain whether those vehicles have left the country or not. He noted that their office He noted that their doors are open for all government institutions and the general public on issues relating to transportation in the country. On the other hand, the Gambia Revenue Authority was contacted for comments regarding the matter, and it indicated that the issue is currently under investigation. Therefore, it cannot comment before the conclusion of the said investigation. For Star TV, I am Modu Elbad.
Westminster Foundation for Democracy, in partnership with Communities for Democracy, has delivered a training on effective communication for 20 female leaders in the Gambia. Dado Cham has more.
The women aged between 22 to 40 were drawn from various political backgrounds in the country. They were exposed to two-state strategies to empower their participation and become effective leaders. The project is aimed at strengthening the participation and increase the representation of women in power and decision-making structures. The second workshop was held this week with a focus on effective communication. Jare Fayinke, 26, an UDP political activist from Janjanbure, CRR, who works as a teacher, expressed his readiness to face the men in the next round of elections in the country. She said the 2016 election was completely changed the face of politics in this country, with a female presidential candidate and other dynamic members in both the National Assembly and the local council. She sees Yakumba Jaite as her role model and wished to be like her one day. Aisa Tunjai, Councillor Banjo City Council and National Coordinator of Network of Local Elected Women of Africa, described the process as a new confidence in building method imposed in the participations. Only 4 out of the 23 members are women. Currently, women represent 50.5% of the country's population. However, very few women hold positions of power within political parties, in the civil service and other relevant decision-making processes. This is what such a training seeks to address. Program coach and national coordinator of Think Young Women, Musuba Koto Saho, who is also a gender lecturer at the University of the Gambia, said she met these ladies from diverse political backgrounds and has no doubt that they are special in their own ways. Meeting these women since November and facilitating their first workshop and subsequent coaching season, Musu Saho spoke highly of their commitment and dedication to learn more about politics in order to engage meaningful into politics. Reporting for Star TV News, I am Dado Cham.
The Milka Charity Foundation, in consultation with Milka Sports World over the weekend, presented football materials to some coaches in the Gambia to serve as samplers so that they can be partners in business. Well, our reporter Yamuda Koka was there, and this is her report.
A Gambian based in the UK, Malik C, donated football items which include balls, jerseys, football boots, face masks and many others to some coaches in the Gambia so that they can patronize him and do business together. Abdullah Jallo, the auditor of the foundation, said that they want to promote football as well as help the youth in the country. He added that the donation will not only stop in the Greater Banjul area but will also go to the provinces. He further said that in the Gambia, it is difficult to have quality football kits, but their initiative will be of great help.
You, the team, you are going to tell us what you want on your jersey, on your dresses, anything that comes up with the kits. You will tell us your specifications and how you want it and the way you want it, and we will do it that way, and it will go with quality. The footballs are quality, the jerseys are quality, the trousers are quality. But it's left to the teams. Whatever you want on the kids, that's what we're going to do for you.
What advice do you have for the beneficiaries, those who receive the material?
Yeah, well, the advice only would be to patronize the foundation, because whatever you contribute to the foundation, it is going back to you, because it's going back to your...
He reaffirmed that people should really patronize them as whatever comes into the foundation goes back to the youth in the country. Babukar Bojang, Secretary General of the foundation, added that Milko came into existence 2 months back and the main motive of it is to help people and empower the youth in the Gambia. He added that many youth in the Gambia are idling around, which is bad, and that's why he wants them to venture into sports. The coaches and beneficiaries of various teams, which include Steve Biko, City Football Academy, Walidan Football Club, BK Milan, and many others, showed appreciation to Milko Charity Foundation for coming up with the brilliant idea of empowering sports in the country. Mohamed Lamin Jane, Secretary General of BK Milan, showed appreciation by saying that the items are very important as there is no football without the jerseys and others.
Yeah, as I said, these things are very, very fundamental in the game because without the football, there is no game of football, and also now without the jersey, there is no football because you cannot play without the uniform.
Other beneficiaries added that the materials are very fundamental in the game, and without them, there is no football. Owing to that, they can play better with the items readily available. For Star TV News, I am Yamundo Kuka.
Those were the local stories. We will be back with the international news after the short commercial break. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Gambia, Angola, China Holding, Gosh, producers of the finest tomato paste in the Gambia. Jaja tomato paste, available in 5 kilos, 1 kilo and in sachets. For wholesale and retail, visit our factory at Banjulanding. We are also producers of Jaja mineral water, cool, clear and fresh. Gosh, Gambia, Angola, China Holding, with headquarters at Fatu Golden Plaza, Mile 7, Bertel Harding Highway. Gosh Group also provides the best security company, Gosh Security, for your offices, warehouses, homes and personal property. Gosh Group for all your construction projects, offering you quality water reticulation for your gardens, pump irrigation, tidal irrigation projects and all types of buildings. You can contact Gosh on 396-7894, 700-8993, 373-0259. Visit us at Gosh Global Group on Bertel Harding Highway, Fatu Golden Plaza. Our website www.goshglobal.com. Gambia, Angola, China Holding, Gosh.
Welcome back. After that break, we now look at the news beyond our borders. Washington, D.C. is almost closed off with unprecedented security before the inauguration of President-elect Joe Biden. A military green zone has been established and 25,000 National Guard troops have been deployed. Defense officials have told the Associated Press news agency they fear possible incite attack at the inauguration and will have National Guard troops vetted. Roads around the Capitol building have been blocked with barricades and metal fences. There are fears of more violence by supporters of the outgoing President Donald Trump following an insurrection there that left 5 people dead. U.S. state capitals have also increased security in advance of the inauguration. Al Jazeera's John Hendren reports on the extraordinary levels of security from Washington, D.C.
The U.S. Capitol is surrounded by sirens, steel, and soldiers in a military occupation never before seen in the American capital. 25,000 National Guard troops secure the National Mall. That's twice the number here after the 1968 assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. And then there are the thousands of U.S. Capitol Police, City Police, FBI, Border Patrol, and others. The mob assault on the Capitol on January 6th, shown here in a video released Sunday by the New Yorker magazine, has left a city and a nation grappling with the aftermath of an insurrection, fearing another possible assault on democracy, and traumatized.
I'm getting a bit nervous towards Wednesday.
I think it's going to be better because I think they're taking overly precautious.
Joe Biden's January 20th inauguration comes with crowds reduced by the pandemic, on ground trampled by a riotous siege, under the shadow of his predecessor's second impeachment. Pennsylvania Avenue is usually one of the busiest thoroughfares in Washington, D.C. Now, it is the center of a green zone, a security area that stretches 3 kilometers from Capitol Hill behind me to the Potomac River. This is now a city in lockdown. Everyone entering the largest secure zone in presidential inauguration history is screened for weapons. Inside, fences upon fences, steel upon steel. Just as it seemed the center of the city was entirely barricaded, workers bring in still more fortifications. Every manhole cover is sealed against threats from below. Now, the city's most iconic street is a park for runners, rollerbladers, and pedestrians enduring a historic upheaval.
My heart feels like a hummingbird, and I don't know what to do. So I usually go for my daily walk, and I couldn't go for it, so I figured out that I could walk this way.
Across the U.S., the FBI warns of possible armed protests outside all 50 state capitals, following the armed invasion in April of the Michigan State House. as federal agents scour the country for those who invaded the houses of Congress, arresting this Nashville, Tennessee man on Sunday, the U.S. prepares for what most Americans hope will be a peaceful handover of government power, even as it braces for another assault. John Hendren, Al Jazeera, Washington.
Brazil has approved 2 vaccines to tackle COVID-19. Mass distribution of the Chinese-made Sinovac and the British Oxford AstraZeneca jabs will soon begin, but the COVID-hit Amazonas states of Manaus people are worried about surviving until the doses reach the remote areas of the Latin America's largest country. Al Jazeera's Monica Yeniki reports from Manaus, the gateway to the Amazon rainforest.
After months of political infighting, the first Brazilian was vaccinated today in São Paulo. But the round of applause in Brazil's richest city was a far cry from the reality of Manaus. More than 3,000 kilometers in the capital of the Amazonas state, a new strain of the coronavirus is still spreading infections like wildfire. Many here barely make it to a hospital, and those who do have few guarantees they'll get out alive. Nelly Freitas just lost the 3rd person in her family.
I cannot understand how the government let Manaus reach this point. They're killing us, destroying our families. My brother-in-law died because there was a shortage of oxygen. We bought a cylinder, but it was too late.
Not far from the hospital, others are racing against time. These men have spent the morning rushing from one oxygen supplier to another to fill up their metal cylinders. The federal government, Brazilian states, and even neighboring Venezuela have sent supplies to Manaus, but it hasn't been enough. Mauricio Fernandes has been standing in line for his uncle, who's suffocating in the hospital. In 1 week, he had 2 cardiac arrests.
Chega a ser irônico, né? Todo mundo fala que a Amazônia é o pulmão do mundo.
It's ironic. Everybody says the Amazon rainforest is the world's green lung, and yet people here are dying from lack of oxygen. It's like a war zone.
In the port of Manaus, time seems to have stopped. Instead of oxygen cylinders, bananas are unloaded from the boat to be sold on the market. But the river, which could be a lifeline, is also an obstacle to fighting the pandemic.
Manaus is the gateway to the Amazon forest. It's surrounded by water, which makes the logistics of bringing anything here, like oxygen cylinders or vaccines, very difficult. You can reach the capital of the Amazonas state by plane or by boat. But there's some villages out here behind me which are hours and hours away by boat. And that's the only means that you can reach them. And not every boat like this one is strong enough to carry supplies.
Here, the vaccines, which will be distributed throughout Brazil, are still a promise for the future. In the meantime, people are just trying to survive. Monica Yanakiev, Al Jazeera, Manaus.
Uganda's opposition party, National Unity Platform Party, said it will challenge the presidential election results in court. President Yoweri Museveni won a 6th term in office last week. His main opponent, pop star tune politician Bobby Wine, has dismissed the outcome as fraudulent. Al Jazeera's Priyanka Gupta reports.
Andrew Natumania can barely walk without support. The campaign coordinator of Uganda's opposition leader Bobby Wine says he was beaten and tortured by the police.
They put something on my arm that felt like I had been connected to electricity. My whole entire body was shocked.
His allegations come a day after Uganda's long-time president Yoweri Museveni was handed a 6th term in office, extending his rule to 40 years. His rival Bobby Wine remains at home, tightly guarded by soldiers outside. Wine's party, the National Unity Platform, says he's under house arrest, but they're determined to challenge the outcome of Thursday's vote.
We are here to inform the country that NUP rejects the announced results of the presidential elections. The results announced yesterday by the EC do not in any way relate to the presidential elections in which you participated as a party.
President Museveni insists the vote was fair, despite a crackdown on opposition candidates, an internet shutdown, and a growing international concern about the validity of the election. For now, Uganda remains on edge, with many calling for calm and an end to political upheaval.
My hope is I only hope for the best peace in the country.
But that may not be easy. The 76-year-old president faces an undeterred opposition, bolstered by young Ugandans fed up with high levels of unemployment, corruption, and growing increasingly impatient with the old political order. Priyanka Gupta, Al Jazeera.
Well, before we end the news, a quick recap of our main headlines. Peace Gambia holds its first conference. Gambia Transport Union unveils corruption practice among transport stakeholders to implement complete training on political leadership. Milka Sports World presents football materials to some coaches. On the international scene, U.S. tightens security before Joe Biden's inauguration. People fear for their survival as COVID rips through Brazil's Manaus. Bobby Wine to legally contest Uganda vote urges non-violence. That's all for this edition of the news. Do enjoy the rest of wonderful programs. Join us tomorrow for more news. Thanks for your time.